Hey, beautiful soul. Welcome in for another episode of Spirit Speakeasy. Today, by popular request, we are going to be talking all about intuition and why you have it, even if you feel like you don't, where it is, how to access it, what you can do. The truth is, your intuition is one of the most natural, innate parts of you, but also one of the most vulnerable parts of you. And at some point, most of us bury our intuition deep within us. Sometimes the whispers of it will still pop up from time to time, either in our awareness, in those internal nudges, those gut feelings, which is sometimes why we think, oh, I knew it. I knew I should have made this choice or taken this route to work today, or I knew this person was XYZ. But what happens is we often feel like it's not there in either uncertain times or when we actually really need it the most. And sometimes we even feel like we cannot discern it among all those anxious, busy, mind racing thoughts. The truth is, as we know, we are living in a constant state of trauma, overwhelm, uncertainty, just as a collective with everything happening in the world right now, both in our own countries globally, and then as well as in our own personal lives. Things just feel incredibly uncertain right now because they are. But what does that do to your intuition? It often makes it feel like it's even harder to access, or we're even more stuck with racing thoughts and trying to mentally kind of figure out or puzzle what to do. And each of us carries our own personal struggles and strengths along with everything else that's happening right now. So, answer me this. Does this sound like you? Have you been moving through changes, some chosen and some maybe not chosen, but instead of clarity and confidence, you feel like you're stuck or like you're continually second guessing yourself? Or maybe you keep asking, what's next for me? I feel like there's more here. I feel like this can't be all that there is in life. Or what am I meant to do? And this can be in your work, in your life in general, in your relationships, in your spiritual path. But the more you puzzle over it and mentally try to figure it out, the answers feel more and more cloudy or out of reach, or more uncertainty builds. Or maybe you know that there is this bigger purpose inside of you, but things like self doubt or fear or people pleasing just seem to dim that voice within. Or maybe you can't even find the voice within. You started this life's path as an intuitive child. We all do. If you have children in your life or have ever been around children, you know how unbridled they are in this way. They just have feelings and senses and say, I don't like that person, or I want to do this. My body says this. So we have so much more awareness of that intuition when we come into this world. We're aware of unspoken emotions. And for many of us, we're aware of unseen things like the unseen world, the spiritual world, in ways that we have long forgotten, which is very true for me in my journey. But over time, what can happen, we go from being, when we're kids, fully in our body, feeling every emotion, feeling the emotion of others, vulnerable, open, unafraid, kind of these little creative sponges of intuitive energy, uh, to somewhere along the way, maybe in our family or at school, maybe the culture around us, all of those subtle and loud messages cause us to protect that vulnerable, uncensored, intuitive self. And little by little, we bury that intuitive voice deep inside of us, usually for some version of belief that it'll keep us safe, or at least keeping that vulnerable part secret somehow guards our heart a little bit. And instead of tuning into our awareness, that intuitive side of ourselves, we start to become solely focused on the voice of the outside world. It starts often little by little. It can be something as simple as, maybe in the house that you grew up in, maybe someone was having a tough time, or there was an argument, or we're having financial struggle. And as a little person, maybe you thought, oh, mom or dad or grandma or adult, you're sad. What's wrong? And they, out of typically love and wanting to protect us or shield us, they say, oh, everything's fine. Don't worry. Everything's good. I'm fine. And what that starts teaching us little by little is to turn down our intuition, or that we can't trust it and we need to focus on the voices of others. It could even be, I keep thinking of my own examples. It could even be like when we're at school and we are just fully our whole selves in our body and just being our whole quirky, unique selves. And sometimes it could be a teacher, it could be another kid, kind of looks at us and is like, no, you don't belong, or you don't fit in, or you're weird, or I don't want to play with you. It could be very simple. And then we start to decide, oh, I need to tune myself to what is acceptable in this community here, this classroom, this school community. I want to fit in. I want to be amongst these other kids, whether it's the popular kids or just any kids, right? So maybe for you, one of those versions happened. But for all of us, what happens is we start, like I said, instead tuning to the voice of the outside world. And maybe for you, this intuitive voice has still been able to kind of pop in, whisper to your heart once in a while, and you might have a moment of clarity, or you might notice some synchronicities in the world, or even like we were talking about a couple minutes ago, that feeling of like, I knew it, like I knew that that was a good opportunity, or I knew that, I was just thinking about this morning because there's two main routes that I could take to work, and one of them is sometimes a little crowded on the weekends. I'm at the office today. For those of you that are listening to the audio version, you won't notice that I'm in the office. And I just like the scenic route a little bit better, but it can be a little bit more trafficy. And as I was kind of a little bit just over the bend, and then was like, oh, I knew it. I knew this way was going to be really trafficy. So sometimes we do have that I knew it, because you had a feeling, but it shows up sporadically at best for a lot of us. And the other bit of it is that you locked away this intuitive voice for so long that often you've forgotten how to connect with it whenever you want. When we're kids, we just have that access to our creativity, our storytelling. And that is intrinsically a part of how our intuition works, which we're going to talk about more as we go. But I think we all want to be able to tune into that voice of our intuition whenever we want. You may have even wondered if your intuition was blocked or felt stuck in some area of your life. And the truth is, you're not powerless. You're not broken. What's really happening is that you've become disconnected from the clearest, strongest guide for success and happiness that you already have, your own intuition, that inner knowing. And when you reconnect with that, uh, everything changes. You stop spinning in circles and you start moving forward with clarity, with confidence, with ease, with certainty. And, I have to say, oftentimes we get our intuition a little bit confused too. We think that intuition or the psychic gifts are about predicting the future so that we can eliminate or avoid all pain and discomfort. And the truth is, that's not what it's about. We live in a chaotic world. We are subject to other people's free will choices. I was just working with a client earlier this week that their personal life partner relationship just imploded out of the blue. It was completely the other person's choice in the matter. And in those kind of circumstances, we don't have necessarily the control or the ability to make things exactly static. Nothing's stationary in life. So our intuition is not about predicting the future. It's not about avoiding all discomfort. It really is a communication from our own soul, our soul selves or our higher selves, to and through us as human beings, to one, sense the unseen, unspoken emotions and energy around us, and two, to know which of the choices on whatever menu we're working with in any circumstance, whether it's work or relationships or life or spiritual path or just what to have for lunch, to be able to have that inner knowing of what is the highest choice for us, and then the trust and confidence to go with that choice, right? Because even if we know which of the menu options, let's just say, is the healthiest lunch, it doesn't mean we always choose it or we always trust that it's going to be good, right? And I want to talk briefly about soul energy. One energy point within us, the spark of life, that thing that makes us alive, makes us human, that divine spark that breathes our lungs and beats our hearts without us even thinking about it. That soul version of us, I often see it as like the live stream of our higher self moving through us, living in us, with us, as us. Your soul, higher self, these are all one and the same, not separate things. And I know we talk about this often, but you are a soul having a human experience. So while we have very human lives, each of us is a soul having this human experience. To what degree we're aware of that varies based on lots of things, but the auric field, which we've talked about in a full episode, go and find that if you want to learn all about your auric field. It really is just the emanation of this energy of the soul that is in you, living with you as you, expanding energetically from your body, creates this energy field around us. I know I've mentioned it before, but even the Heart Map Institute has done a study about the electromagnetic field projected by the heart space. They are not studying our whole electromagnetic field, our whole energetic field, but that's the aura. And the aura moves, it's ever changing, right? But the soul uses this as a database for the unconscious, the subconscious, all of the clairs. If you've ever heard of clairvoyance, clairaudience, claircognizance, clear knowing, and for our mind, and so much more. So our soul comes into this human form with tools and with intuition that is part of us naturally. But the problem, or one of the many human challenges, is that, quote unquote, who you are as a person also includes not just all of these wonderful soul aspects, but also who we are and our experiences in this physical world. So we're not able to necessarily consciously focus on physical and non-physical at the same time. We can learn to switch back and forth, almost like switching channels on our TV, except one channel is outside of us, that outside voice, what the world says, fitting in, that mental puzzling of like, well, what is this person going to say? And what's the best choice? And how do I forebode discomfort and make a choice that's going to be the least complicated, right? So that's one channel, those outside voices, outside beliefs, outside, sometimes we call it programming, the outside world. And the other channel is inside of you. That's your intuition. That's your soul. That's your true nature, who you are outside of all these human beliefs and experiences and challenges and complications of life. I want to give you this word in a definition in a way that you might not have thought of it. The word insight, right? Think of insight as to see from the inside out. Insight. Stop living from the outside in, which is what many of us do. We're conditioned to do it in our culture. It is not your fault. It is just something that we are trained to do. We're trained, and some of it's necessary maybe to need to move in and out of certain spaces or get certain jobs, right? But it doesn't mean that it should be our whole entire focus, this outside world. It becomes that often for most of us just as a part of the way our life goes, but it doesn't have to be that way. And even worse, we become conditioned to let those outside voices kind of mingle with our own. And often in our formative years, we kind of lose that feeling of our own self. And it gets colored and mixed, right? So It's mixed with thoughts and beliefs and even sometimes the goals of others. I often see it in readings when someone had, like, parents or family that expected them to be a certain profession or to live in a certain way. So all of those outside factors kind of commingle with who we are. And as we grow, we can take them on as our own. And what happens is we feel like we can't even discern our own inner truth versus those outer happenings, right? And happenings are, what I mean by that is like beliefs, observations, data, conclusions, fears, other people's needs and beliefs. It's sort of similar to like being versus doing, but not quite. So, intuition truly, we're talking about this soul version of you. Intuition is a relationship that you and only you can actually do the work on. But chances are no one has ever taught you exactly how or supported you through the process with tools that you can actually use over and over again for the rest of your life. Because while intuition is totally innate to us and a part of who we are as souls when we come into this physical incarnation, it does get silenced and overrun by all of those external things that we were talking about. But it's so personal to you. It belongs to you. And there are specific tools, processes, techniques that we can use to tap back into it, to reconnect to it, to start to listen again, to start to understand even that discernment of what's truly for us or information from our soul versus a belief or a pattern or a desire of someone else or the outside world in general. And it really is something that's very personal to each of us, but there are tools that can work. And that's why intuition isn't just woo woo. It's the tool that most successful and powerful people in the world swear by, actually. I've heard Oprah call it the success behind her most powerful decisions is her intuition. Even the late, great Steve Jobs said that intuition is much more powerful than intellect. It was one of his specialties, actually. Jennifer Aniston, who's one of my favorites, shares how it guides her life and career choices. And even Richard Branson often credits gut instinct for his boldest business wins. These people are leaders, not only in business, but thought leaders. They don't guess their way forward. They trust their intuition to cut through that noise, to make confident choices for themselves, and to create lives that thrive. Okay, here's the good news. You can do this too. We all have this ability just as part of us. The only difference between them and you, it's not talent or luck. It's that they've learned how to access their intuition, how to listen to it, and how to actually use it in all the areas of their life, work, relationships, anything that they need to make choices and decisions about. And let's be real, we are making choices and decisions all day, every day. If you want to go even deeper, by popular request, I will talk about it in a minute. I have actually created a breakthrough live experience that is coming up in just a couple of weeks from when this is releasing. But I just want to share, as part of these tools, there really are specific ways that we can get clear and almost rebuild that relationship with ourself. But there are certain questions we need to ask ourselves, certain evaluation to be done. And this is where personal development, or personal growth, it's sometimes called, is such a pivotal part of intuition. Because if you think about it, if we have become over the years of our life outwardly focused, and we have kind of lost that discernment between the outside noise and the inside truth, right? We're talking about other people's beliefs and the culture that we're raised in and the community expectations and the family expectations and all of the right and wrong that we were kind of taught or came to believe. It's not necessarily part of who we are. And maybe our soul doesn't even agree to all of these beliefs. Maybe we just adopted some of them to get by, to survive, to be some version of success in the way the world understands it. But feeling disconnected from our intuition is not our natural state. And so coming back to ourselves through trying to understand in personal growth and personal development more of who we are, what we truly want, what our soul truly wants for us, what our soul is calling us forward towards, and then where our fears or those external beliefs are getting in the way. This is a process, it's work that is to be done. It's not necessarily, I mean, some versions of it are hard, meaning sometimes there are hard things that we need to process or challenging things or things from our past. But this is something to be used in everyday life, day to day, when we're making those big decisions, when we're feeling like, oh, I don't know, I feel like I really want to try this or go on this trip or take this class, but I'm not sure and feeling a little bit insecure. It's using this specific group of tools to start to understand, well, am I feeling anxious or resistant about this because it's actually not for me? Or is this just my fear creeping up? Is this just that my teacher in third grade told me I wasn't a good writer? Is this just something I picked up along the way and took on board as a belief or a truth, when really my soul's calling me in a different direction now? And there are tangible ways to start working this energy and asking these questions. It's not a one and done like most people think it is. I know we talked about healing and the misconceptions last week. I invite you to go revisit that. I won't dive into it again because it was a talk all of its own, but that's what I'm talking about. There are personal growth and personal development tools that I am going to teach you in this live experience that I'm going to tell you about in a minute, to really continue throughout the rest of your life in small ways, doing this self-assessment, self-inventory, questioning ourselves. And that is where we build that discernment to understand, oh, okay, a past version of me thought this or believed this, but now I know my soul is calling me forward to this, or my intuition is saying, I'm just going to go to this party, even though I don't normally go to parties. I just feel like I need to. I just have a feeling, right? But starting to understand when those feelings rise up, because the truth is, it's typically not the loudest voice. The voice of our insecurity, our fear, those are typically louder, more intrusive voices. The voice of our intuition is often the softest voice. It's often the least intrusive. It's often just that subtle nagging nudge that keeps tickling your curiosity or keeps nudging you forward. In the UK, they call it a niggle, like Niggle, niggle, where it's like just kind of tickling you and won't leave you alone, but wondering about, thinking about, stewing on, keeps coming to your mind. But even that is stating it too strongly. It's much, much softer than that, because that's where that free will choice comes in. Our soul, our intuitive side is not going to push us into that next chapter, those next steps, into living our best life. Those decisions have to come from us. Our soul is offering us the inspiration, the intuition, but we have to accept it. We have to choose that thing off the menu. It's not going to be forced upon us. And sometimes part of our learning is choosing the less healthy choice for a little while. We can choose to learn that way for a while, but we don't have to. And everyone has access to their intuition, but the piece that's missing for most people is this personal development, personal growth, this relationship with yourself. And don't get me wrong, while self-care is lovely, I'm not talking about bubble baths and massages and soft music and candlelight for yourself. That's all lovely if you enjoy that, but that's not necessarily how to build the relationship with your intuition. And there are real tools to do it. So I have to tell you, I really hope that you are interested in this free live event that I have coming up. It's for go-getters, for seekers who are tired of feeling stuck and in doubt and second guessing, and who are ready to thrive and move forward in their life with clarity, trust, with ease. I know that we have talked about this, and at the end of the year, we'll have the numerology coming up. But this calendar year of 2025 has been a 9-year, which means we're coming to the end of a cycle. And it's one of the many reasons, besides all of your requests to talk about this topic and to teach about this topic, It's one of the many reasons I know this is so necessary right now. I don't want you going into another cycle, going into a 1 year where it's time to create and time to build and time to choose, feeling insecure or stuck or uncertain. I want you knowing how to connect with your intuition. I want you knowing, even if you don't choose what your intuition is offering you, I want you to be able to know and acknowledge and sense that internal voice, that deep knowing within. Even if it's coming in soft nudges, you can be aware of it day by day, moment by moment, conversation by conversation. It just takes someone to help you focus and learn how to do it. It's not even hard to do. It just takes practice and learning. And it is a relationship building with yourself. It's, in my opinion, actually the most important form of self care. Even if you do no other self care whatsoever, and definitely not the like Instagram worthy kind, this really is the meat and potatoes of what you need to be doing, what we all need to be doing. It's how I went from not knowing how to use my intuition at all and feeling like I couldn't trust myself. And I was always making the wrong decisions, choosing the wrong partners, getting involved in ways that I was, whether it was personal relationships or business, giving my whole self and my 100% and feeling like things were never working out for me. And I couldn't understand why, but so many times I had it in retrospect that like, oh, I knew it. I knew I shouldn't have done this. I knew I had that feeling, or I heard that thing. I heard that person say this and it stuck with me and I really should have known. Right. So these tools are what helped me, and I've kind of whittled them down and tightened them up over the years into a really easy, manageable, learnable skill set for people, just because it is such a natural part of us all. It's something we all can do and we all have access to. So, to help you go from being stuck and second guessing to feeling clear and confident and fully in that driver's seat of your life where you can trust yourself and trust your knowing and the decisions you're making for yourself, I'm really excited to invite you to this live training. It is live virtual on Zoom, taking place just around the corner, Saturday, October 8th from 8 to 12 Pacific. So that's 11 to 3 Eastern. It is right on the homepage of my website. It's totally free. I also will put the link in the show notes. So wherever you're listening to this, you can go in the show notes, get the link, and save your free spot, or you can go right to the homepage of my website, joyfulmedium.com. The workshop or the training is called Certain, Confident, and Truly Thriving. And that's what I want you to be. It's going to be a 3-session workshop where I'm going to take you through so many things, but the 3 questions that you need to be asking yourself to really be tuning into your intuition in any situation and to be creating this overall vision for your life that you're wanting to live into and create. Stop letting life just happen to you and being on the defensive all the time, and start actually living your life in the way you intended. It's the future, and everything you want is not way out there somewhere that you need to find magically, that needs to be drawn to you in the way they talk about manifestation these days. It's already inside of you. That's what most people are misunderstanding. It's again, not outside, inside, insight, seeing from within, not seeing outside to see within. So this workshop is totally free. It's live. There will be replays in case you can't make all the sessions. Again, it's designed for go-getters, just like you, who are ready to really start living into their next chapter. And if you're listening to this sometime in the future, even if you missed the October 18th training, be sure to check the website, because I do offer various free trainings a few times per year. But if you're listening before, definitely don't miss this training opportunity. I don't want you to wait for someday to reconnect. The moment to build this relationship, to dive into your intuition, to finally start getting the clarity from within yourself about yourself that you need, the time is right now. So don't wait. Intuition is totally available to you. It is your birthright. It is who you are as a soul. And even after this conversation's over today, I just invite you to start thinking about those younger versions of you, that version of you that was playful and outgoing. And it doesn't even mean you were outgoing with other kids. Maybe you were a bit shy and sensitive and you had this rich inner world, this creativity, this ability to soothe yourself and be by yourself. Or maybe you had some artistic nature. All of that is connected into your intuition. All of who you truly are as a soul, of what you are truly meant to do and experience in this lifetime, it is already within you. And I'm so grateful for those of you that did fill out the survey sent to my email community. I really do read those. I really do take everything to heart that you guys share. And it's I don't love witnessing people looking outside of themselves for these answers. It's not going to be some magical genie dropping from the sky that is going to give you 3 wishes and make your life totally discomfort free. We learn in contrast, right? We learn in sometimes we have to know what we don't want to know what we do want, right? But intuition is a way to kind of circumvent all of that and just listen to that inner voice step by step, moment by moment, so that we can live in the now and create right now what we want to be experiencing, not creating so that someday in the future we have a different life. It doesn't work that way. We are responsible to grab this relationship with ourselves. And I am more than happy to teach you how to do it. So again, virtual free training, October 18th, 8 to 12 Pacific in the morning, 8 a.m. to 12 p.m. Pacific, or 11 to 3. It's a Saturday. I know you guys always ask for things on Saturday, 11 to 3 Eastern, and all the time zones. You're going to have to adjust for your time zone. It's right on the homepage of my website, joyfulmedium.com. It is totally free. I will also drop the link in the show notes. It's called Certain, Confident, and Truly Thriving. And by the end of this workshop, you really will be able to start connecting with your own intuition, to start making those choices in a way that feels confident, in a way that you can trust your intuition. And everyone should have this skill set because it already belongs to you. It's just that you haven't been guided as to how specifically to do it. So I hope that this has been meaningful for you. I hope that you can start remembering yourself as an intuitive being, who you truly are, and knowing that the answers aren't outside of you. It's not for someone else to tell you, that they are already within and you can access them. It's not as hard as you think. It's not maybe even as hard as other people have made it seem. And it's something that you are totally capable of, even if you have never done it before. It's already a part of you. So I hope you'll join me on the 18th. Again, totally free. Happy to do it. Happy to be there. There are recordings of the sessions if you can't make it, but you have to sign up in advance for those. So again, show notes or joyfulmedium.com. It's big and right on the homepage so you can see it. When you click in, it'll give you everything we're going to do that day. I didn't want to drag you through it here, but it'll give you specifically the exercises, what it's going to look like, what it's going to teach you. Because let's get prepped for this 1 year. Let's close out this 9 year in a really strong way so that you can finally have some true understanding of not only who you are, but of what your purpose is, finally satisfying that feeling that something else, something bigger is meant for you or available for you. It is, and I'm going to teach you how to get there. Big hugs, lots of love. Bye for now from inside Spirit Speakeasy.